Welcome to the Mind Talk podcast, where we delve into the roots of dis-ease growing deep in the subconscious mind. I am your host, Diane Vanis, with over 25 years in energy medicine. What the mind suppresses, the body expresses. So what is the body expressing that the mind is suppressing? Have you ever felt like your body's trying to tell you something, but you can't figure out what it's saying? Maybe a persistent pain, a strange tension, or an illness that just came out of nowhere and doesn't make logical sense. Health and illness are not just random states in a particular body or body part. They are an expression of an entire life lived, influenced by or arising from a whole web of circumstances, relationships, events, and experiences. Illness really is a disease process. Our physical and mental health is intricately interwoven with how we feel, what we perceive or believe about ourselves and the world, and the ways that life does or does not satisfy our core human needs. If the body follows the mind, and the mind follows what it believes, what is your body expressing? The body is the physical reflection of the psyche. Every symptom, every discomfort, every strange ache may not just be a random event, but rather a deep message from your subconscious mind, a signal that something within you is calling out to be acknowledged. But here's the problem. Most of us don't listen. We ignore the signs or cover them with medication. We may dismiss them as normal. Or worst of all, we might get used to living with them as if suffering is just part of being alive, or we're just getting older and we expect aches and pains or declining health. But something to remember is that the body doesn't get sick by accident. It gets sick because something fundamental or something inside of us is out of balance. Something needs attention. Today, we're going to uncover this secret language of the body, a secret code that your body uses to communicate with you. Unresolved emotions, buried traumas, blocked energy often show up as physical symptoms. And most importantly, how can we begin releasing this pain from its root? Once you understand this, it may completely change the way you see your health, your body, and your inner world. There are, of course, no promises of miracle cures, simply the recognition that each of us contains as yet an unimagined possibility for wellness. Healing, which means return to wholeness, is within us. We often have to face and debunk misleading myths to which we have passively become accustomed about what is normal. So let's begin with the idea of the body being a mirror of the soul, or your life as a person. Every part of your body holds symbolic meaning. There are no coincidences. The discomfort and pains that often arise do so during periods of emotional or psychological stress. For example, think about the last time you may have had a headache. Were you overwhelmed, under pressure, mentally exhausted? Headaches are frequently a manifestation of mental overload and anxiety. There is a signal that your mind is working at a pace that your body can no longer handle. The mind-body connection is real and profound. Yet, when we repress emotions, when we don't give them space to be felt and understood, they don't just vanish. They find another route to emerge, to get our attention. So what is not emotionally processed will manifest physically. But instead of listening to these cries from within, most people just pop a pill and move on. They're masking the symptom, ignoring the root cause, and falling into the same loop over and over until the pain becomes chronic. The issue isn't just the pain itself. It's the habit of silencing the body's messages instead of tending to them. Healing isn't about living a life free of discomfort. It's about learning to understand the story behind the symptom. If the headache won't go away, maybe it's not a deficiency of headache medication. Maybe it's the mind that's desperate for rest, stillness, peace. Sometimes the solution is about creating space for inner quiet. Often migraine sufferers have to go in a dark room, shut the world out, and rest. Maybe we need to question the expectations we place upon ourselves, release the invisible weight that we're carrying around. It's an invitation to pause, to breathe deeply, and reconnect with what our body's been trying to tell us all along. The real question is, are you listening? So let's talk about the weight of unexpressed emotions. Sometimes we actually speak in a metaphorical way about what the body's trying to convey. We sometimes say, I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders. So your neck and shoulders do carry more than a physical burden of your day. They carry your emotional weight too. What we repress doesn't disappear, it just simply finds another form of expression, and that expression is through the body. How many times have you noticed your neck becoming tense when you feel powerless to change something important, or feel stuck in life, or when you're clinging to outdated beliefs that no longer serve you? Neck pain could be a clear signal that your inner self, or from your inner self, that you need more flexibility, not just in your muscles, but in your thoughts or in the way you approach life. For more information about the metaphysical significance of body parts and their symptoms, look at Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life book. I just wanted to talk a minute about trauma. So many of us are on what you could call the trauma spectrum, all the way from capital T trauma, which would be like natural disasters, child abuse, death in the family, etc., to the smaller T trauma, which means that one didn't have the emotional needs met, or that they were not seen, heard, or acknowledged. and they carry around a wound. Trauma actually means a wound. Trauma becomes embedded in the nervous system, the mind, and the body, and can be triggered throughout our lifetime in response to any incident that vaguely resembles the original imprint. Old, deep brain emotional circuits were programmed in infancy, while the rational parts of the brain go offline. As Gabor Mate would say, that trauma is what happens inside you as a result of what or what did not happen to you. Bad things happening to you, or even good things not happening to you, like the lack of emotional attachment with nurturing adults. Unresolved trauma, physical and psychological, constricts who we are, distorts our view of the world and other people, and keeps us stuck in the past, limiting who we can be and robbing us of the present. By suppressing that hurt, it fragments the self and is a barrier to happiness and growth. It poisons our relationships and undermines appreciation for life itself. Early in childhood, it may even interfere with healthy brain development. Trauma is a contributor to illness of all kinds throughout one's lifespan. Here's a quote from Dr. Peter Levine. He says, "Trauma is perhaps the most avoided, ignored, belittled, denied, misunderstood, and untreated cause of human suffering. And trauma is about a loss of connection to ourselves and the world around us. Slowly, over time, we adapt, but we become separated from our bodies and begin to live in our head. If we don't know how or what we feel, it's a sure sign of disconnect from our body. And this can result in chronic suffering and even diseases like cancer, which can then be an invitation to reconnect with the severed parts of ourselves again. Here is an invitation to listen to your body, your gut feelings, your intuition, through MindBody medicine."